Right, guys, and welcome back. This is Above Average FPL. My name is Adam. As always, I'm joined by Baker. How are you doing, mate?
I am very, very well.
You're not.
Is
Stop lying.
we're not well.
We're not well. It's
No,
terrible.
no,
It's
not well.
terrible.
Bad. Everything bad. Genuinely everything. Well, I mean, I'm old, so
Happy birthday.
old. Tottenham are terrible. My
Yep.
FPL team is terrible. Um, yeah, got 26 points on my bench.
Is it that many?
Yeah,
I mean, I've got it.
Kepa
I've
on
got
the
it. I've got.
bench, White on the bench, Bueno on the bench, Andreas on the bench.
Well, Andreas got what? Two. You've got two, but yeah, the rest.
Kepa 10,
Yeah,
White
yeah,
8,
sure.
Bueno 6.
Yeah,
Good. Yeah.
fantastic.
It's pretty bad. Pretty bad
Um.
times.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, the thing is, I feel bad talking about my game week so far.
No, mate. Mate, when it's good, this is the thing I've learned. This is the thing I've
No, but
definitely
it's just
learned.
because of today, mate. That's all. I'm not like, mate.
No,
Wait.
we're still an FPL
I'm
podcast.
very
Like,
happy
well,
to talk about my
we'll
rank.
get into the guys, but like it's flying, it's working. Get it. When it's work, this is the thing, right? When it's working, you've got to talk about it. I had 10 magnificent in the first 10 game weeks, I had 9 green arrows. In the second 10 game weeks, I've had 1 green arrow. So hopefully what I'm assuming now is I'm going to get 9 green arrows in the next 10, and I will talk about it. So when
Yes.
it's green, talk about it.
Yeah. So yeah. So I mean, I've got 57 points so far, and
Phenomenal.
so I brought in David De Gea and I brought in Tony. Tony was obviously a last minute one when we found out that he was fit, available, and starting, all confirmed by Thomas Frank. Thanks very much.
Yep.
So that was a perfect little attack that I could have once as well. We confirmed basically that Darwin was out. So the only dilemma, weirdly enough, I made 2 free transfers, including a keeper, and the dilemma that I had on deadline day was should I start Mitoma or Bueno, and they ended up with the same amount of points. Like,
Yeah.
I haven't been in a position like this before. I've never had a deadline that's felt so comfortable. I was locked in like an hour and a half before the deadline. That's not me. But yeah, 57 points so far. Captain on Haaland, no triple cap for me. And
No triple cap for me. Triple
oh,
Cat, doesn't it feel like a long time ago? Because it was the early game yesterday. Like Triple Cat feels like a long time, but bloody hell, they've got to play Spurs. So I don't feel out of the woods on that one. Not at all.
no.
The thing about the game I noticed at the moment is the template ratings are huge. Like as soon as it refreshed, I was like, wow, your differentials have to hit. So 2 things. One is if you take hits, it really, really hurts. And then secondly is if you have differentials and they miss, you're done. Nothing you can do about it. Is so if you look at your 2 differentials there in Matoma and Tony, 15 points.
Yeah.
And if you take my equivalents, which is Mitrovic and Doherty, 1 point between them.
Yeah. It's definitely a swing.
And it's unbelievably fine lines. Tony fouls a man and gets a 9 points. Mitrovic kicks his own foot and gets 0 points. None of us can control those things happening and where they work and what happens with them. But boy, it hurts.
Yeah.
It hurts. So that's just the game at the moment. Like is there's a lot of really, really high owned players, and that's not going to go away.
No. As we move into these things, I called it like moving season. I felt like this is the time. Look, with the doubles coming up, the blanks, all the planning. Feels like day 3 on a PGA Tour event. It feels like moving day, moving season. There's a lot of things.
But wouldn't you just call it moving season because you've been moving?
Well, I just think there's opportunity for things to go right and wrong. I mean, look.
Yeah.
There's opportunities for things to go right and wrong. We talked about like the triple captain, right? And there's a lot of people that there's quite a few, so there's a different way of different sections of the game of triple captains that haven't. If you look at like the Elite 1000, these at like 270% owned Haaland, for example. Top 10k 206. So really not as bad as we even thought it was going to be.
No.
And as obviously as you go further down, there's obviously more blank dead teams and stuff, so it just gets lower. But people who triple captain Haaland this week, in the general sense, will make a move. Would make moves if he'd have banged in the first game so far, and they will move if he bangs in the next one. They will. I mean, fine, I won't move, but he will. They will. It just.
I mean, they'll get a big swing, on that. That's the big thing. If you have triple captain him, they've still got to play Tottenham, mate. They've still got to play Tottenham at home. And we're going to get to us, but we are in a bad space. They could make massive gains. I wouldn't be worried yet on my triple captaincy. It's going to be fun when it does happen. What about when do you think that's going to come? Because I think one of the interesting things on Twitter is people talk about content creators play it and then it creates waves and does all them. But if you take the total audiences of the people that played it, there's a lot of big names that have played it. Andy's played it, Raptors played it, Focal's played it. Did Focal play it? I think Focal played it.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
So did Neil Robertson as well.
So did Neil Robertson. He took it well. So it's going to be interesting when the next waves come from. I noticed like Black Box didn't play it, the Wire didn't play it, we didn't play it. Lots of others, that didn't play it. Planet FPL guys didn't play it. So FML guys didn't play it. So it's going to be interesting to see. FML did play it.
Yeah,
that's a good point. So it's going to be. I don't really think people play it because of content. I think that people play it because it's like, hey, it's my team. I think if Man United get that double in 22, I think there's going to be a lot of Rashford boys playing it.
Funnily enough, I put out a poll on Twitter asking the question because I just wanted to get a feel. And I didn't want to put them out together because I didn't really want them to make it look like I was trying to make this point. But I asked people what they'd be happy with in with a Haaland triple cap. And this was before the game was played. And they were like 10 to 14 points was where people felt comfortable that would be acceptable. And then I asked people how many points they expected Rashford to score if he got a double against Palace and Leeds. And what did they say? 10 to 14 points. That was over 50% on both polls. So it was and in fact, actually, the percentages were pretty much identical across all four options. So I think there's definitely an opportunity. Just be aware that you will be up against the 200% owned Haaland anyway. That particular game week, Haaland will not drop. So,
I don't know.
You think he'll move maybe from you think he'll move down to 160, something like that?
I think in previous things we've seen big swings in doubles. People go with it. You think of people like Weghorst got 150, 160.
True.
Bowen's had those type of things.
Dennis.
We've had some big swings on those ones. I think if people start moving their captain, because if everyone starts triple captaining Rashford, loads of people are going to cap him.
Just to protect themselves.
It's the maths.
Don't go there again. But no, fair enough. Fair enough. And yeah, I mean, it was 16% used it in the top 10K, the triple captain this week.
Yeah.
So there's a few. There's 35% or 36% have used it so far. And still a lot of people left to play it.
I think we're going to start seeing some twitchy wildcards start to play now.
Yeah, I've seen a few knocking around, even on just Twitter. Not many, but just people that have decided that it's the right time. I think I'd rather wait until there's a bit more certainty later on when I can decide where to dead end.
Getting the right free Arsenal is going to suddenly, it becomes a question.
Well, I mean, I answered Harry earlier in frustration on Twitter, just saying it would be Odegaard, Saka, and Nketiah for me. And I know Ben White looks like a good option as well, but at the same time, if I'm sitting there with Trippier, Shaw, and doubling up on Newcastle defence, who look equally as good,
stingy, yeah.
I mean, it shouldn't have even been a penalty, to be honest. But anyway,
I mean, it should have been a penalty.
Different discussion.
It was a penalty.
Well,
it was only not a penalty if you had double Newcastle defence.
It was a foul on Trippier.
It was not. It was a penalty. Let's get to the games. Come on, we've got a wheel to do this stuff.
The wheel. So the wheel has selected North London Derby Pain for us, obviously. I'm not spinning it straight away because we're going to start with this game. So let's go there. And what I was surprised about was actually the numbers don't look terrible from a Tottenham point of view, which seems really, really strange. But I think the first half is probably I mean, again, it's Tottenham, but we had a big chance. That was the difference. That's the only difference. We were outplayed all over first half.
Exactly. I think the thing is regardless of anything else, when you watch the teams play, one team looks like a team. They attack as a team. They fight really hard. They defend. I don't want to call them a defensive team because they're not. But they should be really proud, like as of the way that they defend. Like they get men behind the ball so quickly. The second you're against them, everyone plays a part in that defensive game. They fight so hard for it.
It's a really intelligent press as well.
Really intelligent, really intelligent. Whereas we managed to get chances, it's just quite hard to work out how. Like it's just an accumulation of some good players trying some good stuff, and they do some good things in the box, and they've got Kane. So you're always going to get some chances. Kulusevski's always going to make some chances. But it just feels, everything feels, ugh, it doesn't feel right watching them play. They just, Arsenal just look good. We do not look good. And we got beat. We deserve to get beat. You can argue it all you like, that it looks like a pretty even game on the chances. Anybody who watched it did not feel like an even game on it. And where they work so hard, you never feel like individual mistakes are going to be the problem for them. I've moaned about Ramsdale in the past and so forth, but when he's on it, he's good, and he was on it. Like they want it so much more as a team. Whereas when you see like a flap from Lloris, like it's just like,
you need someone, and in these kind of games, you need someone that's dialed well into the occasion as well, I think. And Ramsdale is that person. He's dialed in. He's dialed in with the crowd. He's dialed in with his defense. And if he gets a couple of he got a couple of early confident saves, and then that's it. It's difficult to beat at that point. It was.
I don't think it's a surprise they don't get that many injuries, because I feel like it's that they're so controlled in the way that they play that I think that also helps them to not get the injuries. They always seem in control of it. Whereas I feel like rash teams and also because it's so well drilled, because it's so well done, the team wants to play again. That you can just imagine it every single time. They're like, let's go again, let's go again, let's go again. And even if they had a game in 2 days' time, they'd all be putting their hand up to play that exact same team again. And you don't think they're dropping intensity. They're not going to go away. Unfortunately, they're probably going to win the league. God.
It's horrible. I won't accept it until it actually physically happens. So.
Yeah.
There's a question in here about the colours of the grass. That's pure Opta. Like Tottenham shouldn't really be in red.
That's how it's going today.
Yeah. And there's also another question. Dal's asked a question in chat. Can you just read that for us?
Is it true that I was the fan that kicked Ramsdale, as there's a picture going around on Twitter? No, I did not.
Are you sure?
Because in case anyone watches it.
Can you see on screen?
I can see on screen. It's not me.
Okay.
We don't endorse it.
No. We'll clear that up. It's not Baker.
Please ban whoever does it.
That's a brilliant photo by Korf, though. Genius.
Do you not feel like we've just gone back 20 years in time, though, where we're now hoping for Man United to win the league because they're kind of nicer people?
Yeah.
We don't really suffer pain as Tottenham fans, as youngsters when Man United were winning everything. That was the easy way out for us. It wasn't Arsenal, it wasn't Chelsea, it wasn't Liverpool. I kind of feel like we're in that boat again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
But I don't see anyone catching them. For me, White, Odegaard, and Saka is probably the three. Everyone's got Martinelli. I don't think there's a problem with having Martinelli. But Saka and Odegaard. If I was wildcarding tomorrow, Saka and Odegaard would be the ones.
They're the two. You lock those two in, and then depending on how you feel front and back.
Yeah.
I mean, go with how you want.
It's just difficult when there's so many transfers to make in certain things over the next few weeks. There's going to be injuries.
If you want to lock in White, then fine. I mean, he got two bonus today as well.
Yeah.
So
It's
was that
going
in
to
part
get.
was that in part because they took the assist off Saka? I wonder. I didn't think about that.
No,
Actually.
no, it wasn't it anyway. But
Okay.
Gabriel got booked in as well, so didn't help him.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Can we move on?
Move on. Tottenham,
Oh, Tottenham.
Kane, it's fine.
Um, no problem for me. For he still had opportunities today. I mean, I'm not.
Kane
He'll
was
tick over.
excellent. Kane was involved in more chances than any other player in the game. Was involved in 9 shot creations, either creating or shooting.
Next
What more
3
do you
game weeks,
want?
he's got Fulham and Leicester, so and West Ham
Fantastic.
in the next 4,
Just
and then
Kane's
Chelsea,
absolutely fine.
and then Wolves, and then Forest, and then Southampton. Yeah, just keep him.
Yeah, Son's the worst player in the game. Yeah, I mean, in terms of value, Son's the worst value player in the game.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
okay.
Not a shadow of a doubt. And if you've done something stupid like me, like pick up Doherty, then just play around with it until St. Plan comes around.
Yeah, back to the wheel.
Yeah, back to the wheel, spin it.
Cool. Right. Apparently, for the podcast, we're going to need to make some noise. So I think what we should do is you probably should just chat while it's making some noise. But people that can see it on the YouTube, it's BPS. So the reason I've chosen this name is because 3 guys topped the bonus. 3 guys.
Wow.
Do you know which game that was?
I want to hope it's Forest.
No, it was Newcastle. So Isak, Trippier, and Dan Burn all topped the bonus.
Trippier, man. He was not. So this is a guy that was not in it at any point, gives away a penalty. So he manages to give, like, if you're like, I'm obviously in this game, I hated this game because I'm a Mitrovic owner and a singular Trippier owner. But imagine you didn't have Trippier in this game. Imagine you're somebody today that owned Mitro.
Is there
anybody in the chat that there is people, yeah, there's people. There is people that don't own Trippier. Is not many, but there's a few. If you're somebody that owns Mitro and doesn't own Trippier, please let us know. But imagine that you think, yes, I've got the penalty here. It's given against Trippier. And then when it gets, they don't get those points. You've then got, well, at least Trippier's not in the bonus. And then right at the last, bang, there he goes, free bonus.
Yeah.
It's genuinely
brutal.
Phenomenal. He's closing on Haaland. He's closing.
Yeah. I sent out a tweet yesterday about the number of double-digit returns that he's had, or over 8-point returns that he's had since Haaland got that hat-trick at United, and he's done it something like 9-10 times now. It's been over 8 points, and Haaland's done it twice in the same period. So are we coming to a point where we need to perma-cap Trippier? Like Newcastle win a double, would you cap Trippier?
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't you?
Not even a shadow of doubt. If Newcastle got a double, you would triple.
Triple?
Imagine it's not the world's worst thing, is it? You think about people saying like 10 to 15 points. If he gets a clean in one of them, he gets 9 points, 8 points minimum.
Yeah. Exactly. So if the expectation on Haaland is 10 to 14, you get 2 cleans from Trippier and he's on 15, 16, 17 points.
Absolutely phenomenal.
No assists.
Yeah, I mean, they're just so well known. What do you think people are going to do with Miggy now?
I don't know. I don't think there's anything wrong with Miggy at his price. I just don't. Unless that will probably be the move to the second Arsenal midfielder.
It's got to be, isn't it? That's what I'm saying. It's not that hard to get to Odegaard from him.
Yeah.
It's not that hard to get. You can definitely get to Matoma with him. We might talk about Mr. JWP at some point. Southampton have got a very good run. It is, I can. That sale's going. That sale is coming. No doubles. That sale is coming. Rodrigo.
Yeah, been on my radar.
There's a lot of options outside of Miggy. I can feel people are going to start to get a bit. The thing that I'd get a bit twitchy on Miggy is that he comes off early every game. Every game he's coming off early. What I would say is I didn't own Miggy today, and it was unbearable at times watching that game. So
it's because the fans just encourage him to shoot as well. Like anytime he's in and around it, as much as the confidence that he's got from what's happened earlier on in the season, as soon as he picks up the ball, he takes a touch and he takes a turn. If he's got some space, the first thing in his ear is shoot from the home crowd.
And it's always in that same position.
Yeah.
Because Trippier is so good, they all go out to Trippier, and then he's got that space just in the edge of the D, of the penalty area, and you just know he's opening his body and he's got that shot in him. That won't go away. That'll be there all season. They're a really good team. Yeah. Really good team. Some of the chat mentioned about the fact that Bruno went off. That's a big deal. But Longstaff had an unbelievable game today. He was class.
Yeah, Eddie Howe's doing wonders with the squad. And they're all very much like Arsenal. They're all pulling in the right direction together. And we've said it already in podcasts gone by, is that even the off-field stuff, you feel it's very different. Everyone took the piss when they did all these photos after every game. They're doing it after every game now. Every single game. And it just keeps building momentum, morale.
Yeah.
Everything you need to breed a winning mentality is there. And although
Do you think we're noticing this more? Do you think we're noticing this more because we're Tottenham fans?
Because we're just so fucking miserable, yeah. Probably.
I think we are. I think we're seeing how fun it is for Arsenal and Newcastle. We're seeing this like blah. And United now. Look at United. When we get we're going to get to them, but you can see though some teams where it's really on. There's three main ones, and their assets are all cheap as chips.
Just one question in the chat about this: Wilson or Isak?
It's a big enough thing to go neither.
Yeah, I think so.
It's a big enough thing to go neither in mind.
They could share minutes as well. So
yeah, definitely.
Cool.
Definitely. Mitro is what he is. Like, he's not an enjoyable person or what. We saw two strikers this weekend in Mitro and Tony. They're not the most enjoyable watches, but they will get points. They will always get points in them. And yeah, go find I think you can have more fun in that position. Yeah, but it's probably downgrading him to nothing or moving to Nketiah. And either go Nketiah or go and find some fun in midfield and have five midfielders. Because Andreas, I'm not 100% sure we need Andreas.
Fair enough.
But it'd be nicer to know who's missing in 25 before we make that decision.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Back to the wheel. Hide a slice and play it again. Let's spin it. Let's see who we're going to get next. Brodge. Off we go. I don't know why I put Brodge. I couldn't really think of anything else to put for Forest versus Leicester. Harvey Barnes appeared just to miss chance after chance after chance after chance after chance.
I think we ruined him. I'm going to put that on us. When we did the pre-season pod, we talked about the fact that Harvey Barnes is performing above it. Not only weapon, but performing above his XG in the first half of the season. It was like, Harvey Barnes performing above XG. Harvey Barnes does not do this. And now the regression is firmly there. And in this league, especially if you're the away team, if you don't score, at some point the home team will come for you. And they did. Very much did. Cheap forwards about that for, say, your Mitros, and if Tony got a ban or so forth. Their next three, Forest, they're good fixtures.
Bournemouth, Leeds, Fulham.
They're good fixtures.
Yeah. Okay.
I think we don't exactly know if
Iwani should have started, should he not? Was he injured?
Yeah, it wasn't fit and so forth. And that's the bit that's a bit of a ugh. But Brennan Johnson, Morgan Gibbs White he's such a talent, Gibbs White.
Yeah, he's a good player.
And our old man, Sexy Serge, 24 on the baseline, mate. Top for baseline for this weekend. Sexy Serge. Along with Ramsdale and Højbjerg. Yeah, the top three on the baseline this weekend.
Fair enough. Are we saying anything else about these two teams? This game?
I think Leicester in trouble. I think they're going to get pulled back down.
There's a lot of teams. There's a lot of teams that are just not doing very well. Although they're starting, it's weird because they then, like, Wolves and Southampton won this weekend, and so dragging
Vardy
everybody
feels like
in.
no goal threat now, doesn't he? Like
Yeah,
feels
you just
like
don't feel like
no
you're going to
goal
get
threat at
anything.
all.
And they missed Maddison as well. He didn't play, did he? So that didn't really help.
But
Just
yeah,
a
I
nothing
feel like
side.
it does feel like he just doesn't want to play there. Definitely
We
feels like he doesn't
what
want
we
to play
got?
there.
16 days, 17 days. We'll see if there's a mover there.
I think he'll, and I do wonder if Bruno turns out to be out for a little longer. I guarantee you that Newcastle bid comes
Guimaraes,
flying in.
yeah. True.
Yeah.
True. Okay,
True.
cool. Let's move on.
Spin that wheel.
Spin the wheel. Where are we going to go next?
Spinning.
We are going for an Emery masterclass.
Wow. This was Friday night. It was my birthday, so I only watched very limited highlights of this. But you watched this, didn't you?
I watched bits of it. It wasn't really an Emery masterclass. I just couldn't think of anything else to put as the thing. I mean, I watched a bit of the game, and yeah, Jesse Marsch wasn't too wrong in his assessment of it, and the chart is pretty representative of what happened. To be honest, the first half was a bit hit and miss. I can't recall I must have missed the chance just before half time, but Leeds were constantly on the front foot as far as I recall, and a snapshot from great finish from Bailey though, really really good finish.
Yeah,
I just can't. I mean, I saw a lot of people talking about Villa assets or defensive assets in this week. I just can't bring myself to do it. I just don't feel like there's other defenders that are too good. Like, why are we even considering them?
No, I don't think there's a reason. I don't think there could possibly be a good reason that we would say that we would go to.
They've got City and Arsenal in the
Maybe
next 4.
either of these teams.
Nah. Well,
But you've got some cheap options in Leeds, at least. At least some of the players, the Somervilles,
like
Nonto.
Nonto's a really interesting one because he was robbed. He was absolutely robbed of that assist. So anyone who went early on him, really unlucky. Definitely if you want to call it a faint touch, fine from Gelhardt, but still robbed.
And they've got another striker they signed this weekend.
Oh yeah, you said he plays like defensive midfield. If you look at his FB ref, he's like one of the best defensive midfielders ever.
Yeah, it looks like a really good defensive midfielder. It looks like he just doesn't score goals, which is perfect. It's exactly what they need.
I mean, yeah.
Don't know. I can't really understand it, but yeah, we don't know how that then plays out with Bamford's back and scored. I don't know how. It makes me just a little bit on Rodrigo. I'd looked at him, I was considering him, and then we get back to this like, oh God, you've got a new guy for 24 million. 24 million's no small change.
Yeah.
And then you've got Bamford, and then you've got all these other guys that are around him, and I'm like, I feel like I'm just going to stay as clear of these teams as possible.
I mean, we talked. Earlier we mentioned like the 3 Arsenal, and you mentioned like going to Nketiah as well. I thought about that, and I've said that was probably my thought earlier. I mean, to be honest, I could probably just go. You probably just go Haaland, Kane, Nonto, and just leave it because Nonto's your Greenwood, but he actually plays and does stuff.
People are considering. I saw some people considering Mings, and it's because of the fact of they're saying that isn't it? He's got games. So Villa have got Everton in 25, and they've got Bournemouth at home in 28. And I'm like, I don't think I want them for blanks. Like, I just don't feel like I want them taking up a space for it.
To be honest, if he's going to play Everton in 25 and Bournemouth in 28, great. I'll bring him in 25, have him for 4 weeks. Look at that. Look at those fixtures: Everton, Palace, West Ham, Bournemouth. Bring him in for 4 fixtures, and then take him away. That's fine. I'm all up. I'm on board.
But 23, 24 in City and Arsenal for not thanks very much.
Bench, like, what's the point?
Yeah, work it out in 25 for me. Like, let's just leave these teams alone until we need to know.
Unless you're sitting on a rolled transfer that you're going to burn or something like that, then and no one's there because there's too much going on. Anyway,
and for a double, if Leeds get a double, would it start to swing you towards one of their players for 22?
Maybe one. I don't think I'd go anymore because if that double comes in, I'm hot on United, obviously.
So. You're already tripled up on United, aren't you? Anyway, so therefore, whereas I think a lot of people now will maybe consider trying to get De Bruno.
Yes,
in some way or form.
Which I won't.
Yeah. Cool. Till then, we'll see. We'll leave him alone.
Very good. Okay, right. Let's spin the wheel again. We are going a bit early for March.
Hey.
You like that one?
March. Solly March.
Like, it's frustrating. It's frustrating because they've got those players that just pop up in. Like Mitoma looks like a great pick, but at the same time, like Solly March obviously steps up, picks up 2 goals and an assist. Really feasible. Next week that could be Pascal Gross. Like, these are the kind of players that play for Brighton.
I don't know though, because like if you look at the pass map,
but even like previously, it's been Trossard and stuff like that.
Yeah, but interestingly, all of March's stuff's gone up since Trossard isn't in the team. It's like I feel like we all thought that Mitoma was going to take Trossard's place, but I feel like March has taken this place as the main person up and about. I feel like they're only better. I thought Ferguson's good, but I think Welbeck back. I mean, what a goal that was by Danny Welbeck. It's lovely just like he's still a really, really good striker. Just can't stay fit, but if he does, he's a really good striker. March was easily their furthest man forward. Like he was a man playing like Salah. If you look at the touch maps for March, it's like prime Salah. Vice versa. If you go on SofaScore and look at the touch map for Salah, I felt bad for Salah when you look at his touch map. His touch map is all over the pitch. Like he's still working. The rest of them aren't, but he is still working. But it's desperate. And the more desperate he is, the more he's trying to drag that team out, the worse he is as a player. Because what you want him is to be up, top right, cutting in, doing the stuff he does, being the furthest man forward. But they ain't got the legs in their team without Darwin Núñez.
Salah only touched the ball 38 times.
But look where it is. And it's everywhere.
It's everywhere. Yeah, there's some sitting in
like he's got measles, his touch map.
Defensive midfield left side, which is really odd.
It's just he's just struggling and trying to still survive in that team. But he's surviving a bad I looked at it earlier, Caicedo and McAllister, like they were a 2 up against a midfield 3. Mm-hmm. Now we know today we were going to face a midfield 3, and we knew whatever midfield 2 you put out, we are getting done. But they absolutely did it. They made something like 130 passes between them, Caicedo and McAllister, compared to the 3 of Liverpool made about 101, 102, something like that it was. You've got people like Fabinho making like 20 passes, nothing, 30 from Hendo, and Thiago is just a complete waste of space. I mean, it's an insult. Thiago is like a top, but we knew what he was. He's a luxury player that can play 60 minutes in a dominant team. Yeah. Like, he was never going to get signed by a middle of the table team because they'd be like, I can't afford this kind of luxury. Well, Liverpool now can't afford the kind of luxury that Thiago is. They can't afford to carry Hendo's legs. Fabinho doesn't care. He doesn't care. Like, he's done. And, Konate, I thought was pretty decent, actually, in defence. He's working really hard to try and cover for them. Robbo working hard trying to do them. But without the legs of Darwin, they can't get teams out. Like, Brighton just fully done them. Like, that could have been 7 or 8.
Yeah. It's quite strange. I think a few years, even like a couple of years ago, people were talking about pushing Trent into that midfield role. Very much like a Joshua Kimmich type thing, and trying to move him into that position. I wonder why it almost hasn't been tried or tested just to give some energy in there. His distribution is fantastic. He's got relatively good pace, and it doesn't cause massive issues if he makes an error, or he's not so fixed by his position.
I can't work it out.
So why is he not trying it? Because as you say, like all 3 midfielders in there don't appear to fit what is happening at the moment at Liverpool. And all they keep doing at the moment is they're buying for, like, what are they going to do when they have Gakpo? Right, so up top they've got in those three positions, they've got Gakpo, Luis Diaz, Firmino, Nunes, Salah, Oxlade-Chamberlain. I know I'm going to
Have we done them all? Jota?
Jota. Didn't do Jota. Like they've got 7. That's 7 players. Perfect. But as soon as you go out of midfield, you take one out and it's just crap.
You can't rely on Keita ever.
Yeah.
Milner's just getting older. That they've got to. I know there's a lot of we're going to get Bellingham in the summer.
Not if you don't get Champions League. Not even close.
Look, you've seen just today, or over this weekend, how quickly it turned to, even Arsenal were in a really good space. Chelsea come in and just say, "Here you go, it's 100 million."
Yeah.
Well, guess who else? Guess who else needs a centre midfielder?
Yeah.
Chelsea.
Yeah.
Todd Bowley's spend the money, mate. Yeah. You don't think he's going to match whatever offer Liverpool put in for Bellingham, mate? He'll put it in
and double the wages.
And
pay it over 25 years.
Mate, he was offering it 120 million for Enzo when he only went for 10 million in the summer. Like, he don't care, Todd, mate. He just chucks it in.
So, okay, so Liverpool assets.
They have a strict avoid.
Strict avoid. Love it. Okay, cool.
Strict avoid.
And Brighton?
They have a strict buy. You got to have a piece of it.
Can you get 2? Do you want 2? Do you need 2?
Look at these next 4 games: Leicester, Bournemouth, Crystal Palace, Fulham.
Yeah, you could need a second one. There's talk of a double as well, was there not? I know
they've got 2 doubles to be put in.
To put in as well.
I mean, I guess, yeah. Yeah, like, why won't we want so much?
Yeah,
like true. The confidence in the way he finished.
Yeah. Second one in particular. Cool. Okay. Right. Moving on to what have we got next? So we've done. Oh no, we've got bloody Kepa now.
Todd. We're talking about Todd Bowley and his boys. Bloody Kepa. Why did I bench Kepa?
I have no idea, mate.
That was just ballsy dickheadness.
I bringing in De Gea. I was kind of hoping that both teams would clean against Palace. I assumed Kepa would. I didn't expect Kepa to get 5 saves and get top bonus.
Yeah.
Because that just feels like Chelsea.
Can I blame Zaha? Can I just say that I thought
it's all Zaha's fault. He needs to go, man. Oh, Zaha to March. There you go. Job done.
Job done, isn't it? It's just
March,
easy to like.
Odegaard. Take your pick.
Take your pick, mate. Yeah, I mean, so Chelsea, we've got Kepa, and just stick with Kepa. Everybody else is strictly off limits.
Yeah, basically.
Strictly off limits.
Yeah. Fine.
And Palace are just strictly off limits. Like,
they've been worse than I expected they would be, even since
much
the break.
Worse.
Like, much worse.
Edouard just looks like he spent the whole time eating. Like, he looks about 3 stone overweight the way he was running when he comes on, which is why he's not starting. And then they just have this weird, just nothingness of Ayew and Lise, Zaha, Eze, of just getting in each other's way. Some of them make good runs and they just don't pick the runs that they're doing and go weird ways. They're just so many unconventional players in terms of how they work, that it looks really lively a lot of the time, but it just doesn't play out to anything. Half an XG.
Yeah, it's nothing.
They had a lot of the ball. But, that's, Kepa's good.
There's a question about Badiashile, and all I know about the game, his game, are the numbers, basically. So the numbers were completed 71 out of 73 passes, which is good for a centre-back.
Oh, really good.
Comfortable. Won 10 duels, cleared 9 clearances, which was the most of anyone in the team. 5 aerial duels won. Wasn't dribbled past. Sounds like a pretty good day for a centre-back, that does.
It's a bloody good day for a centre-back.
Comfortable. Whether that is the key now, I don't know. I say
it's just too many
have made
moving
5
parts.
saves.
Too many moving parts, isn't it? From a 4 at the back, 3 at the back, what's going to happen? You've got Thiago, you've got Koulibaly, you've got Chalobah played well today. You've
Yeah.
got, it's like how many do you play and when do they play them and how do they get them?
Yeah.
I'm sure he's going to be, a key player for them. But does he play every game? Well, we will see.
We
that
don't know.
very
And
short.
then Champions League will come in, and then we'll see what Potter does then as well.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. And as much as we've moaned about Liverpool, let's at least wait until they've got a Liverpool game out of the way. Because after that, Fulham, West Ham, Southampton.
Yeah.
A good games again.
Bloody Kepa. Bloody Kepa. 10 points, man.
Not many left.
The gambler.
The gambler. Well, the gamble paid for you, mate. Well done.
It did. So we weren't able to get the.
I suppose it only slightly paid, didn't it? Because you'd have had Bueno, I suppose.
Well, yes. Yeah, I'd have had Bueno.
Yeah.
So it's 3 extra points.
Coming up roses wherever, mate. Wherever
fine.
your pick's going in.
Which is fine. But then the next 3 fixtures are so good. I was just like, because I was sitting on this transfer, and this was the last one that I made to bring
That's
Tony
the point.
in. But the fixtures are so good. Somebody asked a question earlier, and I asked this guy on Twitter, but there was when are we likely to think that he's going to get banned? Now, there was an article that Sky Sports, there's an article that Sky Sports put out in the middle of December that said the likelihood is that whatever the FA decide to do with the information, they wouldn't be able to get anything through until sort of mid-Feb anyway. So I'll find the tweet and I'll retweet it, and I'll find the link and I'll retweet it. So I'm now a bit more confident that it will at least get the next 2, which is good, because in the next 2 they've got where are they? Leeds and Southampton before playing Arsenal, and then they've got Palace at home in 24. They've also got Fulham, Everton, and Leicester if he makes it that far. We don't know.
And he's just good, but he's on, isn't it? Like I found it really interesting. Me and you text each other this morning, and literally at the same time text the same thing of watching him. Is that he's really? I mean, it's hard not to say gambling-based puns, but he plays like a gambler. Like he doesn't take up standard positioning at any point. Like the ball will be, they'll be on the attack, and suddenly you'll be like, where is he? And you have to look for him, and he's like, oh, he's just hanging out right out of the right wing, just because he thinks, well, everyone's going to go to the ball left. I'll stay out there. Just hope that somehow like a 40-yard pass swings, and it never happened. Yeah. But you don't pick any of that stuff up from stats. You've got to watch him to be able to see it. I don't tend to watch, many full Brentford games, but it was quite interesting watching some of the weird, unconventional positions he takes up. And then,
I've just chucking it up there on SofaScore. I mean, you can see his positioning. Just put it up to my camera for anyone who's listening. That's not going to be very helpful, but it's basically down the left channel and it's down the right channel. And considering he's playing as the central striker,
he's never playing up there.
He's never up there. He's got Bumo and Visser either side of him, and yet that's not where he's playing.
But when he does, mate, he grabs the defender's arm and pulls him to the floor and takes a penalty.
Yeah, he was lucky to get that, wasn't he?
It's just a foul.
Yeah.
It's just an outright foul. Like, that's the bit where you're like, what I want the VAR to go, he's actually just cheated there, mate. And the ref to call him over in front of everyone and go, you've just cheated, mate, and book him and make him look stupid. Like, that's what should happen on VAR, where it's like, actually, this makes it quite fun. But they're never going to do that.
And as soon as they decide that it's not a free kick that way, it's the other arm. It's the other arm of Sensei that comes round the other side and then drags him down. So, yeah, it's one of those.
I don't hate it because I think it's quite funny.
It's great centre forward play, to be honest. As a
it's
former striker.
Fun. But you kind of almost want it to get called out as well on VAR, make him look stupid.
Well, not if
you know what I mean. And you didn't. No, you didn't. Obviously,
absolutely not. No chance.
But
Tony penalty. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, and if he gets it, he's so good at it. I mean, this game? If you take away that penalty, this is a bad game. It was a pretty bad, awful watch. I do fear for them. If I don't fear for them now because they've got enough points. They've got plenty points now. But I don't see how you replace him because he's such a weird talisman in how he plays and how good he is at what he does. Until then, he's a brilliant asset.
Yeah,
brilliant asset.
Can't argue with that. I mean, they beat Liverpool with that,
Bournemouth,
didn't they?
Bournemouth are done, mate.
Yeah,
They're done.
Yeah, they were fun earlier on for us, but no, not anymore. And
They're done.
Not even want to discuss fixtures. Forest next.
Done. Forest are a much better team.
Cool. Okay. Fine. Back onto the wheel. Where is it going? Oh no, I've moved it. There we go.
Can't believe we haven't got City United out yet.
City United out yet. We haven't. Championship Everton.
Oh no, we're
never going to get it. We're never going to get it. We're not doing this on purpose. And the reason this is called Championship Everton is because Steve wanted us to call them Championship Everton. So that's exactly what I did. But JWP.
That's all we've really got to talk about. Like, we can't talk about, the crowd stuff and all that nonsense
No.
and that sort of stuff.
I don't really care.
But
I don't really care. I don't really care. I'd like to see Frank's act. That'd be funny.
Yeah.
And I'm just disappointed that I don't own Ward-Prowse this week.
I did see last week. Yeah, I did see last week FPL Timbers called out that he was playing in a further forward role, and noted on his interview he mentioned it a couple of times, and he clearly was, and you've got a bloke that's a good ball striker. Well, he's not a good ball striker; he's an unbelievable ball striker, playing in a more forward position.
His first goal was ridiculous as well. Ridiculous.
Do you think he just went to Nathan Jones and went, "Did you see that Odegaard fella? Like, I could do that. It's really useful. Just take me a bit further forward and I could do that stuff."
Yeah, maybe.
JWP. Imagine this world where we end up with a midfield of JWP, Odegaard, and Solly March. Imagine a world that we said that at the start of the season. That's where we're going to end up.
We've got no KDB, no Salah.
Nah.
No Son.
Where are we going to start spending this money? No Cancelo, no Trent, no
Robertson, no Reece James.
Bin Salah off.
Yeah, we're actually we're genuinely going to we're going to end up with like £90 million teams. Someone's going to be running around with like an £85 million team, just getting green arrows every week. That's what's going to happen.
Doing well out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
And not only doing it, but doing well out of it. Wow.
Villa, Brentford, and Wolves next for Southampton. I mean,
it's good fixtures.
Good fixtures. JWP.
Probably won't.
No. Shay Adams?
Imagine. No.
Cool. I've just seen a few people with Shay Adams.
No.
But
No.
No? Okay. Fine. Back to the wheel. We're going all right now. We've got only we've got 2 left.
It better not be West Ham. Bloody West Ham.
Yes. This is why we get people to stay. The people we fix the random wheel so that the Manchester derbies. So we start with the North London derby, finish with the Manchester derby. It's nice.
It's perfect.
It's perfect. Right, takeaways.
Can we move on? Like 1.8 XG in the whole entire game. West Ham are just bad.
Bueno started, even though he was apparently dropped in midweek. So
yeah, that's annoying.
Well, yeah, and then got subbed. So they like to protect his clean sheet at the end as well.
I saw a stat earlier that Podence has scored 42% of all their goals this season.
That's because they've only scored 12 goals.
Yes. 5.8. So I add it to the list. JWP, Solly March, Podence.
No, you're not having Podence. Hey, you get like a Haaland. You'd almost expect Haaland to get more XG in 1 week.
And that's the point. We're not talking about West Ham.
We're not talking about Wolves. If you've got Bueno, fine. If you've got West Ham, then I don't know what you're doing. Sorry.
I feel like Paqueta is a problem for them. And I don't mean Paqueta is a problem for them because he's a bad player. I feel like it's because they've just lost identity in what they were doing. That if I think about good West Ham, they were really good in a 4-2-3-1 formation. Really good in that 4-2-3-1 formation. And in that too, you had Souček as almost at times another centre-back, or Rice another back, and one of them would take turns and how they were. They've now sort of decided that what they're going to do is put Paqueta in there as a centre midfielder, and then what you've got is suddenly Souček doesn't touch the ball. Just some big guy walking around. 22 touches he had in that game. In 60 minutes, off he comes after he's had 8 passes in the game. Like, ridiculous. Just become like some kind of like special teams man. Just stick him in boxes for corners at both ends.
Yeah,
like he was an integral part of that team as a pivot,
and he was a genuine FPL option as well, which meant that he was involved.
So you've now got like this guy that's still playing every week despite he's doing nothing. Paqueta's actually must be turning up every week and playing football and be like, why is this weird tall guy just around me doing stuff like? But it's completely changed all their balance of how they play. They're now trying to play as a 4-3-3. It doesn't work. Fornals isn't really a winger, and Bowen's not really a winger either. In a 4-2-3-1 was good for him because he could overtake everybody, and you had a man in the 10, you had a man in the hole that would be able to play him in. Like, Fornals was better as a 10. Benrahma looks their best player every time he comes on, but never starts. Stupid. Cresswell's now having to play left back. Like, Cresswell can't play left back.
No, he's too old.
It's like us trying to play Ben Davies like out there. Like they're just too slow now. Like, you can't do that stuff.
Yeah.
So they've got no overlap. Like, imagine you left-hand side of that game was Cresswell, Souček, and Fornals. Like, just so slow. Their best formations are a 4-2-3-1 or a 3-5, 3-4-3 type thing. They're not playing them, and then they're playing just dull football. So, in the bin for West Ham, in the bin for Moyes. It's good to go.
Cool. Do we need to go back to the wheel? We don't need to go back to the wheel.
Nah, we've got one game left. We've got the fun one left.
Yeah, Man City, Man U. Now, I didn't watch the game. I've seen the highlights, but I didn't watch the game. First of all, and I want people in the comments, in the chat, wherever, was it offside or was it not offside? Because that's a fun thing to talk about. Just a fun talking point. Let's get people angry in the chat. I'll
tell you what about the angry in the chat. It is. I hate the angry in the chat, and I hate the like. Okay. How many times over the weekend do you see the picture of that little screenshot of the rules? Like every tweet was like a screenshot that a still picture, and some of them I was like, I don't know whether you're showing me this picture and the screenshot because it is offside or because it's not offside, and everyone wants it to but not be offside. Like, oh god, we've got a lot of offside. Like, we've got no onside. you think it's onside, don't you?
I think it's onside. I don't think that pass. I think that pass is played with enough pace that it doesn't matter that Rashford's there. The only thing that I can buy is that basically the way that Ederson came out in the first half, I think he probably would have come out and done something about that.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the only argument in my mind.
So they got the part in the rule where it basically says about, interfering and stuff like that. And the bit when you see from behind the goal and you can see that Ederson's watching the guy, like watching Rashford, watching the ball, and then bang, in comes Bruno and hits a shot. You feel like, oh, it does feel like he's kind of messing with Ederson in a way that he thinks he's putting him off or he is, directly interfering in it, and it doesn't feel quite right. What I do think is these are subjective rules. I do think we should just go with this is a little bit subjective. Let that be okay. When it comes to things like interfering and it comes with are you or not, there is a little bit of subjectivity in, and the referee and the linesman have decided to go that way. And I feel like Rashford has really helped them because it must be really, 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 really tempting to have touched that ball. The fact that he carried on his run and didn't touch it, I feel like we should give a little bit of credit to Rashford in the fact that he's done that. And I feel like Bruno is one of the best runners off the ball in the league, if not the best. runner off the ball. So Bruno recognizing that Marcus isn't going to touch it and then doing it, I'm like, well, at least you've tried something here, and that's pretty cool that you've had a go at this and done this. Like, I can appreciate the grind. I can appreciate the hustle in what they've done. The other thing I would say is the bit that also makes me less sympathetic with them is Ederson. John Harrison, and I think John Harrison, if anyone doesn't know him, JHD Harrison1 on Twitter, is about as good a goalkeeper analyst as you'll ever get. And he's called it out many times before. Ederson's weakness is long one-on-ones. I never even knew there was really a term called long one-on-ones, but it's like when someone gets played through early, he makes shots easier. So John Harrison has his own model and gives them percentages. And basically he had, as that ball's played, he has it as a 36% chance of a goal. And the way that Ederson runs out and just gives it away makes it a 60% chance of a goal. So again, I'm like, I appreciate the hustle. And I also think we should, from an FPL perspective, take away the fact that Ederson is costing them. Like, he's making chances bigger. And therefore, that's not good news for City in the defence piece. So, is it offside or not? I don't really care. Like, I'm just not that bothered. I'm not that bothered, really. Like, what I want to take from it is that Ederson's really bad at one-on-ones. And
Bruno's
Man United were really clever. Yeah, Bruno's making late runs. That's good news.
Yeah. I think if Rashford runs away from the ball, like, as in if he runs towards the corner flag, let's say, Akanji has made the decision to play him offside, so he's already behind play.
Oh, like so that
I'm not
screenshot
buying,
showing
I'm not buying Akanji.
Akanji's mate, rubbish.
He's gone. He's nowhere near him.
He's nowhere near it. Like, he's never getting there. No. Even if Rashford started doing cartwheels, mate, Akanji wasn't getting there.
Yeah.
Okay. What they should do, when they show those screenshots, they should do, like FIFA cards where they've got the pace on them and stuff like that. They should like staple them to their heads on the picture so we can see it and then try and work out how quickly he is, because Bruno is on it and Akanji is just treacle running.
Oh, like
he's
the actual speed he's running at.
Yeah, pictures can't tell you how fast someone's going. Like,
I think that happens in FIFA now on the replays. You get this you get this speed thing comes up on the replays on FIFA 23. Yeah,
they should do. That. They should apply that, put it on, then we at least get something for it. But this is like everyone's like, look, there's a man there. Off, mate.
Yeah, he's walking. He's actually walking.
That is another side note, mate. Akanji's positioning, like every single attack, he just goes wherever he wants to. He's got full like David Luiz positioning style of just running at the ball. It looks like an 8-year-old positionally.
Can we talk about Foden?
What do we talk about?
Like, just nothingness. Why is he getting nothing? Why is he doing nothing?
I mean, with Smallwood, we talk about Pep. Like, what is he doing? What is he doing? Like, you've got a team that was working really, really well. Like, Quinton Phillips, mate. We had Quinton Phillips for the first half of the season. We had Foden and Haaland. Like, Haaland needs a foil. Haaland was dropping like 30 yards deep and stuff. Like, what are you doing, mate? Stay up there.
Yeah.
And he had a foil. And, like, effectively, like, pre-season, think about all the different things we've said. Foden was acting as a foil for Haaland. KDB was playing as a right winger, as a right mid, Beckham-esque type role. KDB's gone in the middle, where he's a big old lump who can't get any space and can't get time on the ball and can't make the passes. That's a waste of time.
Except when he assisted Grealish in this game. So when he moves out to the right,
yes,
bing,
gets an assist.
Effective.
Like, stupid, mate.
Yeah.
João Cancelo made 100 key passes last season. And guess what? What do you know? Oh, stick him out on the right. He's really, really quick and he'll get down the side and he'll be fine. Nah, not bothering with that, mate.
Yeah.
Like, he's doing stupid stuff. So he's going to get stupid. So when they get done like this, when it turns round on them, I'm like, I've got no sympathy for you because you fucked about.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't a fuck about find out job. This is just fuck about lose the title.
Yeah.
Man City in trouble, with that. And Man United are not going to go away. Newcastle are not going to go away. They could find themselves fourth very quickly. Now, luckily, well, Brighton are coming for them, probably more so than Tottenham.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's us, Chelsea and Liverpool just having absolutely zero threat on the top four at the moment. So it looks like they'll all be locked in there. Yeah. So, but if
Man
you
United, are they in the title race?
I think they probably that they've got Arsenal. They've got Arsenal soon, and Arsenal got City. Very quickly, they could be in there. They could be very quickly.
They could be in there. Absolutely.
Yeah. I didn't think I was going to be saying that at the start of this season. Not a chance. But
remember that Brentford game? 2 games in the season, mate. That was put some respect on it on Ten Hag, mate. This is fantastic.
This is it.
Casemiro is brilliant, and he's doing the right things. The right things. Overload that midfield. Fred was brilliant
because he's got he's got the intelligence and protection of Casemiro, which he didn't have with McTominay.
Casemiro, Eriksen, Bruno, they're clever players, really clever. Yeah.
Chat Sport has just asked why are people tripling up on Arsenal? Because they're the best team in the league.
Really good. Yeah.
At the moment.
And they're cheap.
I don't know whether he said that just to get that out of 2 Tottenham fans, to be honest, but there we go.
Yeah, probably.
Foden is a player lacking in confidence. He needs to leave, says Dal. Interesting.
Yeah, but you don't know what they're going to do every week.
Yeah.
Look at Arsenal, mate. You know the team before they're playing it. They play the same way. They do what they need to do. Like most teams, in that case, Man City, he's letting them down. They've got the players. People are starting to say stupid stuff like Haaland's made them worse. Like, Haaland's made them worse. I mean, what? Like, Pep's made them worse.
He was still making runs. He was still making half-decent runs in that first half, so I was being told, and the passes just were not coming. And I guess, I don't know, is that a result of, as you say, KDB being central rather than further out to the right and not have that space, being able to thread those passes? Potentially. Again, it looks so. Yeah, it's what I was hearing was that it was like the first couple of games of the season where they were still looking to try and find that link, and then obviously it clicked, didn't it? Like games 3 to 9, just everything just fired at 4-5 goals a game or whatever it was. So,
but they effectively used to end up in games like 2-4-4, where you'd have KDB on the right, Foden and Haaland in the centre, Grealish on the left. The fullback push up in the midfield. You still got Rodri plus Bernardo or Gundogan. It's all fine. It works there, and they drop in. And they'd stifle you. They didn't stifle United at any point.
Yeah.
Nah. Nope. Nope.
1 or 2 City. Do you need a second City now, though? Yeah. Do you need a second City after this week? Is it just that double that's keeping the second City in there?
We are early days still. Like, we got to remember, we're still our game week 20 of a 38 game week season. We're going to want them again at some point. They've got another double in 23. I don't think you're clambering to keep getting more in, but do you start taking them out?
Yeah, okay.
Chances.
Just hold fire then.
Yeah, I think what looks, is working though. Like I said to you yesterday, what's working really well for you at the moment is you're identifying players that have got good matchups regardless of, doubles and non-doubles, and it's really working out for you. Matoma's been brilliant for you, and now it's worked. Tony's working out in those ones. Target the matchups and target the teams that are playing really well at the moment. We've got some teams that are playing really well. Newcastle playing really well, Arsenal playing really well, Man United playing really well, Brighton playing really well. We should all be focusing on transfers on those 4 teams at the moment, really.
Cool. I think that's a great place to leave it. We're going to do questions, but before we do questions, a quick plug. So, first of all, guys, if you do enjoy what we're doing, if you have enjoyed the stream, apologies for the technical issues at the start. Again, I think we fixed that now. But if you have enjoyed what we've done, please like, please comment, and if you want to hear more of it, please subscribe, share it with a friend, do all this good stuff. Really, really helps us out. And the Above Average FPL podcast, YouTube channel, etc., is supported by Crypto Block Dan. He is an acquisition analyst for a company called Yield Guild Games. They are in the play to earn crypto space. He's a fantastic guy, really, really knowledgeable in that area. And if you want to know more about crypto, about the blockchain, use cases, etc., go check him out. Oh, normally this is the point where I say he's beating me in FPL, but he's not. He's not.
Yes.
I finally caught him. But he's still a great guy. So go drop him a follow, and we're really thankful for your support, Dan. Really are. And if you want to join us on Discord, we have our Patreon. So during the month of February, I think it's until the 7th of Feb. If you join up before then your first payment is then refunded, and you get 30 days of free access to us, which is great. So we have a nice little community now. There's not loads of us, but what's great about that is that, you know, we get to bounce ideas off each other, and we don't get this huge plume of just noise, basically. Yeah. So it's a really nice space to be in, and and it's there for you if you want to. So it's patreon.com/aboveaveragefpl. The guys that are in there, I do need to shout someone out, so just bear with me while I fill some time, because we had someone sign up last week. So I will give you a shout out to Thomas Kahara. Thank you very much for joining us. And we're already talking to you in the chat. We've got a lot of doubles coming up, blank game weeks, etc. So moving on to questions from Discord. So
would you move on Salah and have no Paul? I have no issue with it. I think value for money wise, like I feel like if Saka, I think Flappy did this with, was it Saka and KDB? But I'd do the same. If Saka and Salah were priced the same, which one would you go for? You go for Salah. You go for Saka at the moment all day long.
Yeah,
I'd have no issue with freeing up that money and then working it out later.
Yeah, we are all going to have massive amount of money in the bank. Kev says Odegaard, maybe. It's past time, isn't it? It feels like a Yaya Toure, Ramsey, and Mahrez when he was at Leicester all over again.
Nah,
I think we can still jump. We can still jump on there. There's loads to come, and he's involved.
He's their captain, mate. Involved in everything.
Yeah. Steve says,
and young. I think people think he's a lot older than he is. Like he's still really young. Yeah,
23.
We are witnessing a new big midfielder in this league.
I mean, he's been playing top level football. Well, not top level. He was in Norway for a couple of years, but then he came back. You know, he's Real Madrid, Sociedad, and all sorts of stuff. He's been playing basically professional football since he was 16. Christ's sake.
Yeah.
So he knows what he's doing.
He's now the superstar that Real Madrid thought he was when he was 16. You know.
Yeah, basically, and he plays for them. Fuck. Steve says Brighton assets. Yes, they're all good, but who do we go for? I think we've covered that already, Steve. So March Matoma or the Scottish sounding fella. So that'd be McAllister. Yeah.
Or Ferguson. Is that Scottish as well? That's Ferguson. That's Scottish.
Yeah, why not?
But
what the
March
hell? March. Okay, cool.
March and Matoma, I think. I still think March and Matoma over McAllister.
24, Odegaard. 8 years been talking about him. Or I've known about him playing football. Exactly. What the hell's going on with Tony? I want this answered this week. Yeah, we tried to answer that. We don't know is the answer. I'll try and find that link, and I'll share it. That said, they reckon it will be around mid-Feb, maybe. Could be before.
But maybe that's just really pushing him even further as well. You know.
Yeah. It's Dan says it's a sad state of affairs when Kepa is saving my game week. Bloody Kepa. Which keepers should we be looking at in the upcoming weeks? Pope. Would you have Pope?
I think keepers is a tough one. You know, they're all good.
Just because you don't want to be spending transfers on them, really, unless you have a spare transfer, which I did.
Kepa's got plenty there. Yeah, and I think if you had a spare transfer right now, I'd probably do the Martinelli to Odegaard switch rather than change my keeper around, I think. But Pope's great.
Ramsdale.
United. Ramsdale. Yeah. Sanchez. Not so convinced Brighton defence, but hey, mate, their fixtures are so good, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, go you like.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And so I'll go back to this view for some questions in the chat. Any other questions? Who comes out on top between Casemiro and Partey next week, you reckon?
Cool.
Sounds like a fun game. I, I don't know how to answer this question. To be honest. I can't answer it objectively because
No, I can't.
there's more than one reason why I want Casemiro to come out on top of that game.
I do.
So that's not fair.
I think the interesting part is that Casemiro won't go in empty-handed. He'll come in with friends. You know, Fred will be in that team, and you know they'll sit Fred probably on Odegaard like they did on De Bruyne. And yeah, I think they'll do a lot better than we did today.
Best third Newcastle if you have Trippier and Botman. Pope.
Still, yeah, probably Pope.
For me,
Miggy's still good, but there's lots of other options on it.
That's fine. I just like the defense, and for that reason, I have actually tripled up in fan team on Newcastle.
I think I would be more. I don't think I'd want to triple up on Newcastle and triple up on Man United going into 25 as it stands, because I think you're going to be then losing 6 players, and then you've got yourself a bit of an issue. And if you ask me where do I want 5 from, because I think you can have 5 now and then work it out as you get a bit closer, then I think double up on Newcastle defence, Rashford and Shaw just givens.
Yeah.
And then your 5th one's a player that you could just move in or out.
Cool. West Ham versus Everton. How do you see that game going? I'm not actually asking you to answer that question.
Last match of the day. That's where I see that game going.
Boom. Love it. Who will finish lower, Liverpool or Chelsea?
Oh. Yeah, I don't even know if you can ask Tottenham fans that either, because like if you had to put it between the 3 of us,
yeah,
we are a battle of pains.
Yeah.
I don't think we're in a good position.
Fair enough. Guys, explain this to me. I went from 25k to 18k on Saturday. Most of that was Tony. Today I stayed at 18k and owned Trips, Botman and Almiron. Why is that? I tell you what, Dal, jump into my DMs on Twitter, drop me your team ID. We'll go through FPL Optimized, and that will tell you exactly why that happened. Because I thought the same, and it was because I didn't own Kepa. I didn't have Kepa in goal, basically. And all my gains from my double Newcastle defence was offset by Kepa. So completely offset. And that. So it's probably Kepa, if I had to guess. Why did I bench Botman, said Spud Maestro? Because you're an idiot. No, that's probably, I don't know.
Even more so, I think a lot of people owned Mitro, and therefore they then benched Botman.
Yeah. You know? Didn't have all the pain.
Yeah. Double the pain up.
Cool. Let's get a couple more.
Penalty.
Couple more.
Did we even talk about that penalty? I didn't even talk about that. Oh my God.
The slip.
Unbelievable.
There was Do you think it's right that it was a missed penalty?
Yes. Oh, do you know what? The only thing I think is not right was I saw that didn't they record it as 0xG?
Did they? No. Hold on.
On XG philosophy, it was down as 0xG.
Nah, there's definitely XG there.
Yeah, there is there. That's good.
Yeah.
But I think because it initially went down as 0xG, I think that's why it then didn't record as a penalty miss.
Oh, okay. I see.
Because when it did it originally, the text and they said, "Oh, there's been 0xG registered for that penalty."
Final question: why do we play this game?
Yeah, it's a good question.
Nobody knows.
It's a good question. It's a very, very good question.
I don't know. I mean,
we like football.
We like football. I think I enjoy the emotive part of this game because it allows me to experience emotion and be happy and angry at all games of football rather than just Tottenham.
Definitely.
I think what this has done, though, the podcast has done, is actually not numbed me, but actually just sort of made me more balanced, I think, actually looking at all the teams. It really
100%.
has. It has definitely toned us down. Because I think...
%1,000,000.
Because I think 5 years ago, I think if you consider 5 or 6 years ago, I'd have probably broken something today. I'd have punched a wall or something. I was quite an
that penalty. Yeah, that penalty this afternoon, the Mitrovic one, definitely would have broke something. Because when it went in, I was
just talking about Tottenham, mate. I wasn't talking about him.
Oh no, that the Tottenham was just a standard. But when that penalty went in, I was like, thank God.
Yeah.
He slipped, but thank God. And then it was like, oh my God. So not only is do I not get the clean sheet wipeout for double Newcastle defence, but Almiron on its own, 70% owned, that extra 1 point is worth a lot.
Mm-hmm.
A KDB, an Erling Haaland hat trick yesterday wouldn't have been as much as Almiron getting the clean sheet point.
Yeah.
In terms of pain. And yeah, the idea that I get to go and talk about it on a Sunday night just makes it all okay.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the same on everybody's things. Like, find good little group chats, find good places, hey, we've got a Discord, but find places where you can have a chat with people that have experienced the same stuff. What you don't want is the Twitter just constant noise, because there's always going to be loads of people saying, yeah, you've got really, it's always polarizing.
Yeah. Final question, actually one more question then. Do you think, so Dal asks, do you believe that some content creators would rather their FPL team do better than the team they support? Yeah, I think so. But then you got to put that into context, into, like, for some people, this is their livelihood. So if it relies on their team, their FPL team to do well so that they can, actually live, then yeah, why not? Because their football team that they support will have no impact on whether they can pay the mortgage. So yeah, and
exactly.
And so it's like, people hate on them, people, for doing that, but everyone has their own path, everyone has their own job, and all this sort of stuff. So we're doing this for a bit of fun. Some people do it more seriously. Some people have to do it to pay the bills. So it's what it is. We're all just having fun. Well, we are anyway, trying to.
And I think it all comes. I mean, I moan at you for doing this all the time, but like, you'll always want, even if it's the right thing for you, you'll want it very much to happen in the way that would benefit your FPL team.
Oh, always.
So you'll immediately look at a game and go, well, what I want is this exact fixture. They go this exact way because that benefits me, and stuff like that. So you'd go, well, for example, like Arsenal draw might be okay if you had Arsenal, for example, if that worked out. And I'd be like, no, let's just not do that. So I think we all have degrees of where we get to in this world that makes us okay to it. It's cool.
Yeah.
Like, if you're playing this game seriously, you can only be so tribal. We know that.
That's true. Yes, very true. Right, we will leave it there. Guys, thank you very much for being in the stream with us this evening. To those that are listening to the podcast, thank you very much for listening along. We will be back next Sunday, I think.
Next Sunday.
Yeah. How many players?
All back to normal schedules.
Back to normal schedules. How many players have you got left for this week? Do you even know? No idea. 6 or 7?
Yeah, I think so.
Come on, let's get a green arrow on your side. That's what I'm hoping for, mate.
6, I think.
Cool. Well, I'm hoping that you get a green arrow at the end.
7.
6 or 7.
6 or 7. 7. Must have 7.
7. We'll leave it there.
Yeah.
Speak to you later, mate.
8. I've got 8.
Oh, God. Have you got 8? Mate, we're going. We're done.
We're going.
The stream's over. We're done.
See you later.
Thanks for bearing with us. Speak to you later. Cheers.
See you later, mate.
Bye.